all our participants and our respected speaker, Mr. Sumit, on the behalf of Strokes Support Lines who have joined us today. We are very much thankful that Sir that you have joined us today for all our survivors. Giving a brief introduction about him, he is a founder of PR Signal and the National SD Ambassador for Diversity and Inclusion. Apart from this, he is a motivational speaker, public relations specialist, activator, and executor of ideas. Talking about his journey from an entrepreneur who overcame many of the challenges associated with cerebral palsy to open his own public relations firm. He also holds advisory positions in several esteemed organizations. He has been rising consistently in the public relations industry in India and constantly strives for the rights of the person who is living with disabilities across the countries. Not only this, he also maintains association with various organizations, including Rotary International, Rotary Means Business, International British Foundation, International Women's Rights Organization, and many more. He maintains this network to ensure the growth of his business and to gain the necessary connects that is required to be a successful PR practitioner. It's a great journey, sir, that we have actually read about you, and thank you so much for taking out your time to be as one of us.
My pleasure.
Actually, our survivors who are very looking forward to meet you to discuss how you actually achieved so much of like in your life to living with such a disability, because many of the survivors in our group who are actually living with disabilities are sometimes demotivated due to the pressure that they are facing right now, and it's very difficult for them to actually accept from what they are going to do. I think from your today's talk,
Ji, your audio is having some issue. It's having a echo.
okay, what's happening? Okay, sir, no problem. I'll just figure out. It's okay, sir, now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so today, sir, I think we can start with the session today with you can just describe or you can just start with your journey and how you have achieved such a great platform and you have your own firm right now. So I think everyone would be very much waiting for your journey from listening from you. So I'll just hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamanna ji. It's a pleasure to be here among survivors, among achievers in their own right, and among people who look forward to battle life and emerge victorious. I was born in 7 months, and I was born with cerebral palsy. When I was born, the doctor said either the mother or the son will survive. Fortunately, both of us survived, but I was affected with cerebral palsy. And since then, as I began to grow up, I began to learn that I could not function as normally or efficiently as other people because certain motor activities of my body were restricted. I cannot stand or walk without support. So as I began growing up, I was not getting admitted to any normal school. And what happened is my mother was a successful lawyer. She quit her career so that I could, study in a normal school. And she fought with a lot of schools and told them that give him one chance. If he's not able to perform, please tell him to leave the school. But fortunately, I was able to perform, and I was able to perform pretty well in my school curriculum. But one of the issues is I was fond of talking, from a very young age. And nobody wanted to talk to me, and nobody wanted to be friends with me because I was quote unquote different, right? So what happened is I suffered from isolation and deprivation because nobody used to talk to me at school. So I began looking for alternatives. That time, one of the alternative was Orkut. Orkut was a social media platform that time, and I joined Orkut, made a lot of friends, and I figured out that I had the ability to talk at a very young age, right? And in the process, what I figured out is communication is key to solve any problem and emerge victorious. So when I was in college doing my graduation, that time I was also isolated. But during my post graduation days, during my MBA days, I made a lot of friends, and
Well,
that kind of made me realize that I can forge stronger bonds. And during my college days only, I was a
बंदी
part
लोग
of
को
a lot
लेकिन
of
ना
different
बैठने
organizations, TIE, Rotary, and various other organizations. So what happened is
फ्राइडे का है
I developed a
गैस का मीटिंग
capacity to network, and when I
सैटरडे
wanted
का
to
है
do a job after my postgrad, everybody said that
कितना हो
I
गया
was rejected from 6 jobs. They told me you have a degree in
ठीक है
marketing, and for marketing you have to walk. So you cannot walk,
हाँ
and
है
you cannot be in marketing.
और
So that time I felt a
सैटरडे
little
इन सैटरडे
disappointed in the
अभी तो
starting, but
सैटरडे ही है
after my sixth rejection, I was like,
ठीक
I don't want to do a job. Why be a giver? Why be a taker from the society when you can be a
वैसे
giver to the society? I opened my own PR firm. I already had a established network, and from there I built up a couple of clients. And through word of mouth marketing, I built up a couple of other clients, and within a span of 4 years, around 4 years, I have till now completed over 400 media press releases for at least 400 clients in a span of 4 years. So, so I have worked with various startups, various non-profits to craft their media story and to get it out there so that they can generate business as well as they can give a message to the society. I'm very choosy about the brands that I work with, and I usually work with brands and individuals who have a social impact on the society. So, in general, this is how my journey has been like. But I faced a lot of criticism and issues, and my mother was ridiculed for putting me in a normal school, putting me in a normal college, and told that he cannot perform. Why are you wasting your time behind it? She was the only person who believed in me and my capacity and enhanced my ability to perform. So my message to all the survivors there is, once you have someone who can believe in you, you have somebody who has complete and unwavering faith in you, then your ability to perform and survive gets enhanced. And I am very lucky to have supportive parents. So what I have realized is, in terms of survivors or fighters, we tend to get boxed up within two categories. The first category is we are tend to be patronized as heroes fighting battles and emerging victorious. There is nothing wrong with being portrayed as heroes, but there's two things that happens with it. If you are portrayed as a hero, your disability becomes a challenge that you have to overcome. It doesn't become something that you can live with and accept. It is rather presented as an obstacle rather than a part and parcel of your life that you have to live with. So that is why patronizing persons with disabilities as heroes might not be the right thing to do always. Also, don't portray persons with disabilities as victims of fate. We are often portrayed as victims of fate who have been wronged by certain sins of the past life or any other, phenomenon, and that itself is very degrading. I understand that it comes from a sympathetic point of view, but empathy goes a long way rather than sympathy. And I believe that shared experiences in your life story can help you go a long way. Like I am sharing my experience with you, I'm voicing my story, I'm voicing my opinions. That can help you go a long way as a survivor. Right? Your disability is not a challenge. It is something you have to live with. Make the best of abilities to not overcome it, but live with it in harmony. Once you see it as a challenge, you will not be able to live in harmony with your disability. I mean, having a disability is not wrong. It is something which is a part and parcel of your life. And you have to accept it to realize your full potential. So this is my message to all of you. And if you have any questions, if you have any other questions.
Thank you so much, Sumit sir, for your just from your words only that you rightly said that sharing your experiences, that's actually very important for one, like for all of us, because it's actually gives the sense of hope around that you are not alone in your journey. And secondly, your parents, your caregivers who are around you are the main motivators of what you're actually going through in your life. And you shouldn't take your disability as like this is a curse or something like that. You should appreciate, you should accept that yes, in your life it's something good is coming. You should actually appreciate that what you have said. So I think if anyone who wants to ask any questions or want to interact with Sir, or anyone who wants to share their experiences, so they can just share. I think many of the survivors from our group have joined. Anyone who wants to share their experiences?
One of the other things that I would like to say is don't always make your parents or caregivers fight your battles for you because after a certain point you have to realize that you would need to fight your own battles, right? My mother did get me into the school. My mother did fight for my right to education. But once I was, uh, adult enough to realize that what is right and what is wrong, I had to start fighting my own battles. Not because I could not rely on my mother, but fighting your own battles alongside the people who support you makes you stronger as a person.
Yes, sir, very true. Actually, some of the questions are in the group. Like, what were the challenges starting while starting your own firm? Did you raise any investment that helped you around starting your firm?
So, two things. There are two parts to this. Number one is when you have a disability and your clients tend to look at you at a very different manner, and they sort of tend to over amplify your disability, and they will doubt your ability to perform. But that being said, once you show them results and how you can perform what you do, they will judge you by your performance and not by your disability. Number one. Number two is I have been very big. Uh, I adhere to the philosophy of bootstrapping, which actually gives you 100% control over your organization, over your own organization, and that is what is the way to grow. Some people do believe in raising funds, but I believe unless it's a thing which you deal in technology or if you deal in medical products, you should not, grow very fast, because if you grow very fast with investments, sometimes these exits, these investor exits lead to a lot of losses, and dilution of equity should always be the last factor that you should look into.
I think, sir, there's one question from our survivor. Like, hi Sumit sir, thank you for being with us. Could you please tell us how to handle frequently the mood swings, as it is very common for the survivors or for the person?
Yes. Even see, even I have mood swings, right? I'll be lying to you if I say that I don't have mood swings. But you must realize that it is okay to have mood swings. We are all humans, and don't always listen to too much motivation, too many motivational speakers who tell you that it is always, you always have to be positive, you always have to be, looking upwards, and you cannot, feel low, or you cannot feel down. I mean, negativity is always also a emotion, right? And if you suppress that emotion, that is not healthy for you. If you are feeling sad for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, it's okay. It's okay to be sad, and it's okay to, certain times, if you are doing a venture and it's not working out, it's okay to focus on your second venture rather than focusing on your primary venture at once. And because I'll tell you, people say that never give up. Never give up is okay, but if you are watering a dead tree which is not yielding you any results, I would suggest move on to a new plant that gives you fruits, right? I have seen serial entrepreneurs who have failed 5, 6, 7 times in different ventures, and finally they found their own calling. So I'm not a believer of something that I would just stick to only one sort of venture. And if you have mood swings, it's okay to have mood swings. I mean, we are just all humans, But when you have mood swings, you should understand that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to give up certain ventures, but it's not okay. It's definitely not okay to think that you don't have any abilities and you cannot control certain aspects of your life. We are in control. We are definitely in control of the future. We respond however we want to, right? The situation might not be in your control, but how you respond to the situation is always under your control, right?
Very true words. Very true words. So, like when situation, you are yourself have the ability to control yourself. Even the situations are not under your control. So the same question is from our one of the participants. Like when situations are not under control. So how you can keep like what are the solutions to keep motivating yourself under these circumstances?
when the situation is not under your control, make a decision about what you can do about the situation and stick to the situation, right? Stick to the decision, because if you keep making what I see is crisis. Under crisis, people lose their ability to decide things, and that is what makes the crisis more terrible. And this is one thing which I always believe, that your ability to decide makes you overcome any crisis. So with a calm mind, just decide about one thing and stick to that thing. If you stick to that thing, that decision. I have seen a lot of people tell me that, Sumit, if I have not become a doctor, I would have become an engineer. If I have not become an engineer, I would have become an astronaut. I'm like, career switching is always an option, number one. Number two, if you're living in the past, then you are not living in the present. You have made a decision, and if you're not happy with the decision, then switch your career. And if you are happy with your current career, don't live in an alternate reality where you dream about what could have happened and what did not happen and what is going to happen.
Very true, sir. And sir, our next question from our one of the participants is that how do you motivate yourself on a daily basis when work gets challenging, with tougher times and emotionally drained?
See, one thing is, if you follow your passion and if you do what you do, if you like what you do, you don't need to motivate yourself. If you are looking for motivation externally, that means you are internally already motivated enough to look for motivation externally. And I believe that self motivation is the biggest motivation that you can have, because if you look for external motivation in all the motivational speakers, they will have a couple of books and couple of courses to sell you, number one. Number two is that is their daily business, and that's the source of their earning. They don't really care about what is going on in your life. So the only person who can motivate yourself is you, right? Because if you don't feel motivated enough to do certain things, maybe that thing is not for you.
I totally agree. I think one of the person is raising a hand. I'll just unmute that person.
Yeah, sure.
Can you please unmute? I have just unmuted you. Yeah, please tell us your question to the sir. Hello, can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us? I think there is some issue on their behind. I think there is some issue on their behind. So that's very true question that you have actually said us till now. So I just wanted to you have actually raised one question that when you started coming out from the situation, actually accepting that yes, this is my life and I have to come out and I have to achieve something in my life. So you took a option of socializing yourself, coming into the circle, coming out, speaking to people. So I would actually like to know that, so these kind of support groups that we are having, many of stroke support groups and other different disease specific support groups, how these support groups can actually contribute, or these are very can help these kind of survivors to come out, to live with the acceptance that actually they
Okay.
want.
Number one is, as I was saying, right? don't portray this as a challenge that needs to be overcome. This is something people have to live with, right? Because most of the time we are always busy for looking for a cure, right? And when you're looking for a cure, most of the time, when you know that the cure is not available, if the cure is available and if you want to get cured, by all means do so. But always looking for a cure and not accepting that you have to live with it is a part of living in an alternate reality, and that is not good for the person's life in general. So you have to first, the support groups have to, sort of make people realize that this is something which is a part and parcel of their life. And there is nothing wrong with having a disability. There is nothing wrong with having a disease. It's just a part and parcel of the life, and it does not have to be their complete life,
Yes.
right? And they can do a lot of things in spite of having that disease, but it is not a challenge. It is just a part and parcel of their life. Like I have hands. Hands is a part and parcel of my life. Like I have eyes. It's a part and parcel of my life. When we glorify disability as challenges, we make the person realize that you are incomplete as a person until you overcome the challenge, right? So you should not make the person feel like you are incomplete as a person unless you overcome the challenge. If we see movies like Forrest Gump and other movies where disability is portrayed, the boy starts walking without the crutch, right? And then he becomes a hero. So, why is that? Why do I need to overcome my disability to be a normal person? Why can't I be a normal person with my disability? So these are certain questions which you must look into.
Yes, sir. Sir, one of the questions from the participants is that what is your opinion about opportunities for special people in India?
The opportunities same as any other person. I don't see anyhow how you are special. I don't even use the word special. I use the word person with a disability. No, not a special person. You just have a disability. You're not special anyway. And did you give up the mentality that you are special? Probably that will be a hindrance for you to achieve any of your goals. So if you want, opportunities, go out and do whatever you like. You don't have any restrictions. It's a digital world. Everything is done on Zoom. Everything is digitalized. Once you have a mobile phone, once you have a computer, you can do anything you like. You can become a content writer. You can become an animator. You can become IT engineer working from home. You can become lot of. You can become anything you want. So I don't. So I feel a lot of quote unquote normal people who keep telling me that I don't have the necessary skills to do the work. It is all about having the skills. It is not about whether you are special or not. Once you have the right skill set, you can do anything you want.
Very true, sir. So, one of the question from our participants is that I really feel shame for my disability, and I also feel inferior in my crowded functions. Please tell what to do.
Okay. So this is something when this is something I could relate to because this happened to me when I was in school. So one of the ways is to let go of your fear and reach out people to for you to accept them. I know it can be scary, but you you are the one who has to do it once, right? I know it's easier said than done, but I know people who have done it, and I know people who have become public speakers even in spite of having a disability. So so one of the key things is to really learn to trust a person, and there are 7 billion people out there in the world, and you're not everyone is going to judge you for your disability. So first form of acceptance is self-acceptance, where you have to accept that you have a disability and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yes, sir. So, like one of the questions I would actually would ask from you that you have like faced various challenges in your life. So, what actually made you realize that you should have your own organization, your own firm, rather than going for a normal job?
See, once you have your own phone, number one, it gives you the flexibility to work whenever you want, right? Number two, you don't have to report to anybody. Number three, you have your own vision and you can set up your own life your own way, right? Number four, it gives you the flexibility and independence to sort of realize and craft your own path as you go, right? That you won't be getting in a job.
Yes, sir. Like it's very good actually perspective that you are actually having in your mind to just grow yourself, because you are the one who actually motivates yourself. Others just can give suggestions like do this, do that. It's all upon you that how you need to take that motivation on yourself, because I think motivation is just inside you. It's just that you need to take that out yourself. So very good points so that you have raised. So I would like participants, anyone who wants to share their experiences right now with the sir, like where you have been, like what issues actually you are facing, or your survival journey. Anyone, you can raise your hands and you can just comment on the chat section. We'll unmute you and then you can talk about your journey. Anyone in the queue?
Hi,
Yes,
Daksa.
sir.
I have a question. Does your PR firm have more team members, or is it just you? And how do you go
I
about?
work with I work with a team of freelancers. I believe working with freelancers from different cities, uh, opens up that cultural diversity and cultural aspect where you are able to learn and sort of grow in terms of diversity and inclusion, as well as having that flexibility to work virtually. So one of my team members is from Bangalore, one of them is from Bombay, two of them is from Calcutta. So yeah,
That's wonderful. So, my follow up question is, if some of our survivors were to reach out to you for an opportunity, would you be open?
definitely I would.
Thank you so much. That's very motivating. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Like you actually you have actually talked about such a motivating things around. Actually, that's very much needed for us survivors to go through. So I think, sir, there was one of questions that we have actually missed in between. So when you were talking about the internal motivation, so one person is actually asking that when you have internal motivation, you don't need external motivation. Is that what you were trying to actually come out with?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that is something which is my philosophy. Because see, once you are very young, you definitely need your parents or your caregivers to motivate you. But after a certain point, you should feel motivated enough to achieve your goals. That's it. It applies to everyone, whether you are a survivor or not. Not someone who has been through some experiences.
yes, sir, very true. So, like you have said that your family, your mother, who was actually with you in your whole journey, so actually who made you, who motivated you despite all the odds. So I would actually, because many of the caregivers are also in our group actually who have joined us today as well, because they are just handling their person in their houses, stroke survivors. Caregivers also faced many issues like mood swings. Sometimes they have the burden of how to come out, how to actually make them realize the acceptance that yes, it's okay, this is life, and you have to come out with the challenge. So, what message actually you would like to give to the caregivers?
So I know a person who will be able to give the perfect message to the caregivers. Let me call my mother. Wait.
Yes, definitely, sir. Definitely.
I'm so sorry she's unavailable at the moment. But I would have loved for her to meet all of you.
No issues, sir. No issues. Actually, like we can have her like around sometimes when we actually organize one more with you, sir. So actually, there is one question from our participants that they in spite of many physical challenges also they face in terms of like their hand, their foot. So how you actually come out with that challenge in terms of your disabilities?
So, see, you have to realize that everyone has certain limitations, and we sort of have to work our way around those limitations. For example, if you're not able to swim, you take a boat, right? And this is it's like you have to realize what you are good at and what you can do in spite of your limitations. So this is something that I focused on. Like I have mobility issues, right? And I focused more on learning computer-based skills, digital skills, writing skills, something which I could do sitting at one place where I don't have to move around much, right? So you have to keep in mind what you can do given your limitations and focus on that.
So motivating, sir. Actually, you have raised a very good point that just go beyond your comfort level and your limitations. Then only actually you'll be, uh, growing up and you'll just be able to achieve actually what you want in your life. Because I think these limitations are the only thing that actually bound you, your dreams. Just come out with your limitations, your ability to accept that yes, actually this is your life and you have to achieve that. I think any more questions from our participants?
So
Sumit,
one of the questions that I did not answer is about the caregivers. I thought my mother should answer, but she's apparently stuck doing something. So I'll answer the question for her. One of the things is the society tends to overlook is the caregivers for persons with disabilities, right? And they in their own right get disappointed when they are not able to, function their daily life routines because of taking care of a person with disability. So in this situation, I believe is you have to empower your, you know, person who you are taking care of to be able to perform certain tasks without you so much that the person can at least, be able to perform their functions independently for around 2 to 3 hours. Right? For 2 to 3 hours, if you are not around and if that person has to take care of himself or herself, maybe empower that person enough so that they can at least do it for 2 to 3 hours and you can go out and hang out with your friends, or you always have the option of asking a friend or asking a person from a support group to ask to come and take care of that person for probably 1 or 2 hours, right? Because I know people need to let out some steam every time. They need to go out for shopping. They need to go out for movies. They need to go out and have a life in general, right? Your life cannot revolve around the fact that you have a person with a disability to take care of. I know my mother sacrificed her career for me, and I am eternally grateful for that. But this is not something that I would recommend.
that's very great, sir, for your mother. We have actually a respect to your mother who have actually, motivated you. And like for every successful person around is the family, the supportive friends, actually, and also at the end you yourself, because you are the only one who is actually going to be part of your own journey. Others are just backing supporters with you. That's so great, sir, listening about your journey. We are so overwhelmed that these journey, the story that in the questions that you have addressed for our all survivors, they're so much happy and they're so much motivated of today from today's session. I think, sir, they would definitely like to connect with you in future. So that would
So
be
what
great.
I'll do is in the chat box I'm dropping my LinkedIn profile for a minute, and if anybody wants to connect with me, LinkedIn is the only place where I'm available. And so what I'll do is I'll drop my LinkedIn profile. So if anyone wants to connect, I'm more than happy to stay in touch.
That's so great of you, sir. Truly very great. Thank you so much, sir, for we are so much grateful and thankful to have you as today's speaker. Such a motivation you have come out with, just not for the survivors, but also for the caregivers, but also for other people who are actually striving, who are just complaining about their lives, even everything is fine in their lives. Like if if person is still not with a disability, that person also complains every time in their life that I don't have this, I don't have this. In spite of your limitations, you have come out with your comfort zone after limitations, and you have just gathered and you have just grown so much amazingly. So thank you so much, sir. I think we are
So,
worth.
taking you from your word, I see we all have a choice to complain, right? But we have to remember at the end that's a choice that you make. I would rather not make that choice.
That's very true. That's true. So thank you so much. I think so. We are towards the end of the session, and I would like to thank you, sir, that you came out today. And surely we would be connecting with you for future sessions also.
Sure.
And yes, sir. And most of the survivors would also connect with you on LinkedIn, I suppose, because they were actually very much willing to have you. Like they were actually saying that we want Sumit sir around. We want to have a talk with him and how he have achieved in his life. And I think I would also like to thank all the participants who have actually come out and they have asked their issues, raised their issues, shared their experiences. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Take care, sir.